Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome into another episode of our Sisters Keeper, the Tyler Perry Sisters live unofficial after show with your good sis you let her talk TV with, and
Your girl, Allie Nick, giving it to you when I give it to you, but always in the nick of time.
always in the nick of time. And tonight, y'all, we're talking about missed opportunities, y'all. We are exploring the storylines that had potential but were either abandoned, rushed, or underdeveloped. And that includes the characters that were attached to them. As we, continue on with dropping new episodes of our Sisters Keeper each week, as we are in between seasons right now, seasons 8 and seasons 9, we are taking this opportunity to do a deep dive, and we could not do a deep dive into the Sisters universe without exploring the many, many missed opportunities. How you feeling tonight, Allie?
I'm feeling good, girl. I'm feeling good, baby. That many. Let me add two more minis to that.
Hello.
The many opportunities that have been missed throughout this entire 8 season run of Sisters. So I'm excited to talk about those minis tonight.
Same, me too, girl. In quantifying what we're saying as missed opportunities, y'all, we're gonna give y'all the criteria, okay? We're gonna be looking at character development potential that was left unexplored. We're gonna be looking at compelling conflicts that were abandoned without resolution. We're gonna look at the introduced elements that seemingly disappeared without actually impacting the story. So it's like, why did you say this? Why did this thing become a thing and then not be a thing? We're going to also talk about rush resolutions in some of the complex situations because that is one of the biggest, I think, transgressions that happen a lot in the Sisters universe. And then we also going to talk about characters and storylines that are discarded before reaching their full potential. Okay? Um and in doing so, this episode is really going to be focused a lot on the writing and discussing the broader writing patterns that we are actually seeing. Um it's been, I guess, with the last 2 seasons, because that's when we got a writer's room, we saw a focus of generating new drama versus resolving existing storylines. So that's also something that we're going to kind of explore. Um, and then also one thing that popped up in our last live, as like a side thought that I think we can explore, is like how certain characters were introduced, but they didn't have any kind of long term planning for. So a lot of the storylines or the missed opportunities that we might bring up are tied to that. Things not going the way that they may have thought it would go, and then them exploring it in another way and not finding a good way to resolve it. Um, and then also the prioritization of certain characters and relationships as the at the expense of other characters. Number one on my damn list, okay? And then also inconsistent
Okay.
character development
Mm-hmm.
across seasons. We watched in seasons 1 and 2, I feel like were probably the best seasons for the Andy character. 2 and 3 wind up kind of like being the biggest developmental wise for the Karen character. But when you think about them in most recent seasons, it's kind of like nothing. So like them not being able to maintain consistent character development growth, or just a through line that keeps you engaged with these characters that they wanted us to fall in love with from the beginning, and we did fall in love with from the beginning. That's also a thing that actually comes up. So going to the character development missed opportunities, Allie, how do you feel? Because I think that this is the one that's like top of your list about Danny's therapy journey as a missed opportunity.
What's so interesting about this particular storyline is that I remember when they were showing us, they give us that trailer, letting us kind of know a little bit of what's to come for the
Mm-hmm.
upcoming season. So I remember when that came out, and I'm like, oh, Danny is going to therapy. I am so excited because I knew all them sisters need therapy, but if we gonna start with one, I think Danny is the greatest candidate. Okay, so
Yeah.
let's go there. And so I was extremely happy because I was like, okay, we're gonna uncover some things with Danny. Now, I've been to therapy myself. I know that therapy is not a linear. type of trajectory. You go up and down. It's hey. But I was so incredibly disappointed because I felt like they were making a mockery of her journey in therapy. The way that Danny was using this woman as like her personal genie, like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, when I call, you come running. When I rub your stomach, I'm expecting you to pop up and give me a solution to my problem, and not
One that
really
I may or
showing
may not agree with and may or may not follow through on.
absolutely, absolutely, but it's like, okay, you got her in this position to deal with herself. And we saw Danny tell this woman how much she loved her sisters, how much they mean to her, all these things like that. But even along that journey, we still saw Danny progressively diss them, disrespect them, not esteem them in the light in
Yep.
which she has told her therapist. So we kind of saw this. I don't even know. I don't even want to call it seesaw because at least on a seesaw you're up sometimes. It just seemed like Danny
Mm,
was just always down, when it came to this situation. But I was not happy. I was incredibly joyful and excited about the introduction of it, but I thought they did, a piss poor job with showing her journey in therapy.
yeah.
I was extremely disappointed.
And honestly,
I really
y'all, I
was.
want to be clear that in criticizing, you know, these missed opportunities tied to specific character development moments or storylines or whatever, it is saying we do put forth like, oh, what we will have loved to see, but also we are criticizing this because in what they chose to do, it wasn't even a great execution of that. Because one, we could have gotten the storyline to your point of Danny going to therapy and it actually changing her life and changing her mindset and giving her motivation. And now she's just a much better woman navigating life better. But then there is another narrative that could also work that was in line with what they did, in like her not taking therapy seriously, her utilizing Carisha as some type of like mental concierge to which she didn't even really follow the formula for like growth or like healing for. And there are people who probably are in therapy right now. People go to therapy every day being lied to their therapist. They go to therapy every day and create a narrative so that they can feel better about how they're navigating in their world, because they're navigating out in the world on some but they need somebody to believe that they're great. They need somebody to believe that they're nice. They need somebody to believe that they're kind. And I think that if we weren't going to go the route of Danny's true healing, then we should have went the route of like, what does it look like when you're not accountable to the therapy journey that you signed up for? But we don't even get that. We hover in this middle, and then while we're going along in the middle for her therapy journey, we get her projecting all of her insecurities and frustrations and lack of accountability onto her partner, who is a very good partner for all intents and purposes in this season of her life, who was part of the reason why she's even in therapy to begin with. So you end up with this hodgepodge storyline that makes absolutely no sense, because it's neither the progressive story or the real story of what therapy can look like for a black woman at her age with her particular life concerns. And it
Hmm.
just takes you to a point of like, so then why do we do this if we weren't actually going to say anything with it?
Yeah. And that's a great point because excuse me, it's just interesting. Like you said, there are multiple stories that could have been told with that particular storyline of Danny being in therapy. So if you were not going to present the story of Danny truly tackling, her childhood trauma or young adult trauma or whatever. So if we're gonna go with, and even those who have been in therapy, you know that sometimes the therapist that you start with may not be the therapist that you keep or end up with. So it even could have been a situation where, okay, yes, Fatima, thank you for recommending Creisha to me, but I know that this is not going to work. Like, do you have anyone else, or how, whatever the case may be, even showing Danny having some tenacity about finding a therapist that works for her particular needs, or that works for her particular way of going about things, or challenging her in a way that she can get it. So there are so many different, avenues they could have went, but the way that they went about it, I think what made it so disappointing to me, Erica, it was just the fact that you do have a lot of black people in general, but since we're dealing with black women who struggle finding the significance or importance of going
Mm-hmm.
to therapy. So you present this powerful storyline only to play with it. You
Yeah.
know, so if there was a woman watching, like, I've been thinking about going to therapy, and I think we even had that in our Sisters Keeper. Some people were saying, like, yeah, you know, I've been thinking about it, and you see this being presented on the show,
Yep.
and you see a character who you may feel needs it, and then she's playing with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you call this woman in the middle of the night, and Krisha came, but it's like,
Nobody's
baby
doing
girl, why
that.
you here?
Nobody's doing that.
And nobody's doing that. No, nobody is doing that. Even more so when, if you do have some therapists that may make house calls. I never forget the episode where Danny called this woman over to her house for nothing.
Yep.
She came over there to meet with you, and she wasn't even there 2 minutes. So it's like, I understand Danny may be having difficulty with opening up or whatever, but don't make a mockery out of something that's so powerful and
Mm-hmm.
transformative in someone's life. You know, because a lot of people are here because they met the right therapist. You know what I'm
And
saying?
and
So it's like,
and what are you saying about the actual therapist, right? Like I felt like as the storyline went on, it invalidated Carisha's credentials because part of a therapist's job is to also know when they're being played with, to know when they're being lied to know when they're being manipulated. And Carisha was just propped up there to go along with any and everything that Danny said, affirm her, which is cool because ideally you would want your therapist to affirm your feelings as valid. All of your feelings are valid, and she's supposed to provide you with resources to help you process healthily. But then also, that person should be empowered to push back from the place of their expertise and intellect, and be able to call you out when they feel like you're being dishonest, or call you out when when they feel like this only seems like one part of it. What else is going on? What did you do? Are you sure that's what you did, or you think that's what you did but you actually did something else? We don't get to see any of those actual moments. So the one time, which I think it was like a 2 episode arc, where we finally get to see Danny reflecting on who she is and like how she thinks and all of that, was a powerful one, but they wind up undoing it by going back to the Danny reaffirming herself and her delusional projections about how she's so right and everybody else is so damn wrong. And I'm just like, y'all are not only playing with Danny in the storyline of therapy, but y'all are also doing a terrible job of PR for the therapist, because this lady is terrible. You
mhm.
know, therapists drop clients every day, B. You go into a therapy office and they feel like you're lying to them. There are some that's going to still take your copay, which I think also speaks to Allie's point about the 2 minute thing wouldn't have happened. Danny, you work a bullshit dead end job. Your insurance can't be that great for you to be having all these opportunities to go to therapy. Quiet as kept. Erica pays for her own insurance. And I was told I couldn't even get a damn therapist back in 2020 because I was too high functioning, because the insurance don't even be wanting to pay for it, let alone you getting 2 minute house calls. But I digress. Um, y'all are doing terrible PR for this woman, because Danny would have been the prototype client that Carisha should have released if she was leaning into her intellect and her expertise.
Yeah, that's a fact. I thought, you know what's so weird though? And I know people gonna say some, but I don't care. I started questioning Carisha when I found out she was Fatima's therapist. And when Fatima, I'm just, I'm
The
just saying,
Fatima
y'all.
therapist that we never see
No,
her go to.
that we never see her go to. Don't come for me, y'all. Don't stone
But
me.
Carisha been
I'm
doing
just
so great for
saying.
her.
She
Child.
been doing so great for Fatima. Y'all see how much I've changed. Baby girl, when?
You stop
Where
calling
have
them
you
hoes
changed?
after you
So,
stop breaking and
yeah,
entering into Karen's house. Like, girl, when?
let's be real about it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but then I thought about it too. I said, Fatima and Danny ain't too far apart
They
in
not.
how they esteem themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're really not that girl. You're not who you think you are when it comes to that. And but yeah, Carisha just got to a point, because I think initially I believe she possessed the essence of a therapist. I think the first time we met her,
Yeah.
but it's like after a while, which they do this a lot, the way we're introduced to a character and who they eventually become is night and day.
Yeah.
Carisha, I was like, oh, I like her, Leah. Like, she really possesses that. Then after a while, it's like, oh, so you gonna let Danny continue to play in your face? Oh, okay, okay. when you should have
Child.
called Danny out, not to make her feel bad, but as you stated, like, did you really do this, or is that what you think you did? Okay, let's explore. You weren't even doing that, sis. So it's like, yeah, that entire journey,
Mm-mm.
mm-mm.
And
And then as
honestly,
you stated,
no, go ahead. Sorry.
and as you stated, the two powerful moments where Danny was like, "Hey, why am I doing this? Am I doing this to? Is this a defense mechanism? Is this to cover something up?" And we know it led to the panic attack. But then right after that, she went to blaming Tony as the reason why these things were happening. So as you stated, okay, we can see some progress, and then you take 10 steps back
Yep.
by blaming someone else, for the things that's happening in your life.
Okay, ma'am.
Here again.
And honestly, I feel like the Danny therapy storyline is just a visual of what we are probably also seeing, or like not worse, a little like 2 steps better than the Zachary storyline. The difference between those two is that Danny actually sees the therapist. Zach don't ever see the therapist, but they both damn don't listen, and they both got major problems that
No.
the therapist is trying to actually help them with. But Zach ain't on the list of missed opportunities because at this point, I don't know if it's any hope for him. This also was one of your, I think, up there for you. Fatima's jealousy and the emotional complexity that we saw in earlier seasons that seems to be MIA most recently.
Mhm. It is. It, it has been something that has. First, I'm gonna give you a shout out. And I always give you a shout out for this because you did an amazing video on exploring Fatima's jealousy. And I think
Mm,
there's such an ugly or a negative
mm-hmm.
connotation around the word jealousy that people don't want to admit that there are times I am jealous,
Yeah.
and it's okay to admit that.
Yep.
It's not saying, well, I'm so jealous to the point that I want to cause harm to somebody, but that is an emotion that I know I felt it before.
Yeah.
And it's okay to admit those things. But when you have a character like Fatima who is so adamant about not being jealous, I'm a secure woman, don't no other woman make me feel no kind of way. But a baby girl, if you watch
Mm-hmm.
the show, it tells us something different.
Yep.
It paints a different story, because I'm like, the jealousy stuff started a long time ago, and Zach definitely played a role in that because he played like to play mind games.
Yep.
But we have seen it venture even, excuse me, even into latter scenes when the baby came about. It's like, oh, how you know it's yours? She kept sowing seeds of doubt in Zach's mind.
Yep.
Not like, well, Zach, I'm happy to see you excited about, this new life. And I understand that she has emotions attached to it, but at the end of the day, if you can't be happy for that man, I would prefer you to just shut up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, just don't talk. If you got to keep sowing seeds of doubt, these seeds of discord, because you know how him and Karen get, if you're gonna go in that direction, ma'am, just hush. So, collectively, the fandom as a whole don't want to admit the fact that Fatima is jealous
Yep.
of Karen, and then it's like, even to explore, why don't people want to admit that? Because you don't want to feel that what an aesthetically beautiful woman. Karen is beautiful too. Fatima got the body yada yada. Karen is a
Mm-hmm.
sweet petite woman. Is it to say because she doesn't fit what is deemed as the bad chick that she can't be jealous of Karen?
Right.
Like, that's wild. That is
When people be
absolutely
jealous of
wild.
you every day, be, and I still, honestly, I still get shocked when I experience certain things, and then I have a loved one tell me like, oh, that person's jealous of you. And I'll be looking like,
Mhm.
for what? Do y'all know how hard it is being Erica? Like, do you understand the way that my like life is set up and the standards that I have, not only for others but for my damn self? I am always choosing the goddamn hard road. It feels like. So if any of you hoes are looking at me like, dang, why she got this and dang, why da 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 da, trust I worked for that, and it wasn't just handed to me, ho. So like, don't be jealous. My mama is like famous for this. She's just like, you just don't get it. Like, this person probably looks at you and you're it. Like, you're the it girl. And I'm just like, where? I ain't even made it yet. But I think to your point, that is probably also happening within the audience, because there's a little bit of a cognitive dissonance when you are functioning in a way that like maybe exudes peace or progress. Like I have experienced like with family, right? And it's hindsight is 2020 because you don't see it when you in it. But like there's family members who have been jealous of like how I was able to overcome things. And I don't even think about that become being a thing. Um and I think that people, specifically people who do experience jealousy and haven't been able to equip themselves with the resources to be able to handle it, to intake it and understand like you can unescribe the negative connotation to jealousy and just take it for what it is as information, right? Like it's your body, your mind communicating with you about how you see the world or how you see this person or how whatever in this moment. It could be speaking to what you feel like you lack. It could be speaking to what you further desire, whatever. People who don't actually have that, they can't process, you know, oh, I'm jealous. So it's like, oh, I'm not jealous. Why would I be jealous? It becomes that thing, I think, and that's what we probably are seeing. Because when you really look at it, I feel like Fatima has every reason in the world to be jealous of Karen. And that's also why I don't fault her for being jealous. But the like to your point of the fans of like trying to deny it, I think many of them are disillusioned to what jealousy actually is and what it actually means and can't divorce the negative connotation to it. Um I also so like when you were talking about Fatima, what came up was like a weird thing that also happens is when the person who seemingly has more than you or more than one person is jealous of the person that has less. And I think that that's also very weird and it's very hard to like characterize because on paper it looks like you won, but the winner is like jealous of the loser. And that's what I would kind of like, I guess, put as like an overarching umbrella for the whole Karen, Fatima jealous of Karen conversation. I feel like I just derailed this. I don't know. I went to some weird meta place. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does, and I think it could go both ways too. Because even like we're talking about Fatima, there was a point that because Karen would, and that's one thing I love about the character of Karen because she at least she would openly admit it.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to, like I am jealous, but I don't want to be jealous of her. Like I know what she got. There is no reason for me to be jealous. There is no reason for me to be jealous of this. And then going back to the point that you made, Fatima has there is every reason in the world for her to be jealous of Karen. She's having the baby first. There is a love that Zach has for Karen that is evident, and it's something that Fatima can't sex out of him. It's one of the things that she can't fix. It's one of the
Mm-hmm.
things that she can't provide a solution for because Fatima is very solution based. I'm going to solve the problem. I'm going to fix it. She is the fixer, but you can't fix this. You can't talk him
Yeah.
out of loving her. You can't love him so much that it dissipates the love that he has for her. This is just something that you're going to have to deal with and bear with and hopefully, go about it in a healthy way. But she does have, those moments. And like you said, there are a lot of people who seemingly have it all who is jealous of the one that is like, baby, she ain't got it like that.
Mm-hmm.
What are you jealous of? And it could be something so simple. Well, she may not have as much as me, or he may not have as much as me, but he has peace.
Mm.
He can actually walk down the street and not get bothered. I walk
Yeah.
down the street, it's 10,000 people. Like I look at people like Beyonce. I would never ever want that type of fame.
Mm-hmm.
I would never ever want that. I remember when I was younger, and I used to write like music and stuff. And I had an opportunity to work with Alicia Keys, and I was a junior in high school.
Oh
But it was like you got to
wow.
make a choice. Like what you gonna do? You gonna finish high school, go to college, or you may have to get a tutor and graduate. But you get to live out your dream, or what I thought was my dream at the time. And I'm thankful that I chose college because if I chose something differently, I don't know how my life would have been. I
Mm.
don't know if I could appreciate having peace, going to the store and nobody knows who I am like that. because that type of life, it there's a price that these people pay that we may
Mm-hmm.
never ever, understand. And so when I think about Fatima in her adamancy, I don't know, that's the word, in her ability to like so strongly reject the idea
Yep.
of jealousy, to me further shows that she is.
Yeah. And also, it's, I think, a thing that's helping keep her stagnant. Like, there's so much to unpack with this storyline, which probably puts it at the top of like truly missed opportunities. Because for one, this is what came up earlier that like I went on a tangent about. There's a story to be told in the person who is hiding from their real feelings, or suppressing their real feelings. So like maybe Fatima don't ever say it, but she feels it, and we get to see those internal thoughts, and we get the connective tissue and the through lines within her actions of like her actions showing how she feeling, but she refused to affirm it with her words. People are experiencing that. People deal with that every day. It's called being delusional to a certain extent. Then also to the point of like when Karen was experiencing seasons of jealousy, because I do think that she's weighing in and out of them, right, as she's been navigating her grieving that relationship and then her healing out of all of the trauma that came with that relationship. The act of actually acknowledging and speaking words to power for these real feelings that she was having have been monumental in her growth, because you cannot heal or address what you suppress. You too busy hiding and running from this very real feeling of jealousy and accountability to your jealous feelings, so that you're never able to actually heal through it. Karen was able to speak to her being jealous. She was able to see the jealousy in her actions when she wasn't actually speaking to it. And then that put her in a position to question the feeling. Well, why are you jealous? Well, you know what she got. You know what's coming next. Oh, you know what? Actually, I wish you best in your struggle. I can release the jealousy now because I've better contextualized it. But if you're too busy running from it or hiding, acting like it's not there, how could you ever address it? And then how can you ever heal through it? So we watch Fatima stay in this very stagnated place where her jealousy is will forever be present because she won't acknowledge it. So much so that most recently, when Zach wants to invest in Roots to Riches, I think that there was jealousy steeped in, why would you want to do that? She came up with a good reason on paper for him not to, but it was jealousy that was driving that.
It was. The look said it all. Cause
Mm-hmm.
she gave that look, then they went to a darn commercial break. I'll never forget that. Because I'm like, no, I remember saying, no, let's deal with that look.
Yeah.
What was that look? The jealousy come because I'm the only one working. And you mean to tell me the money that you do have saved, you want to invest in Karen's business, not Karen and Pam and no, you want to invest it in Karen's business. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and I understand it. This one, if I was, I'm a woman and my fiance isn't working and I'm pregnant and I'm the only one that's bringing in, funds, and you're telling me what you have left, you want to invest in your pregnant ex girlfriend's business, there's going to be something attached to that statement,
Yep.
to his announcement. Let's explore that. And it has to be more like you said, she cleaned it up real well.
Yep.
Top notch, cleaned it up real well, but it still does not negate the fact that there was an emotion attached to hearing Zach say that I want to invest, or maybe I should invest, when just maybe an hour and a half ago he had no problem
Yep.
watching you walk out the door to go make that money that he refused to go make.
Ooh. And even like
That he refuses.
just being able to speak to the psychological depth that is being missed and not exploring this. Going back to the original scene that I think does it for you, when Zach lies about Karen, sleeping with Karen to make Fatima jealous, and then they wind up squashing that. She realizes that it's not. They wind up having sex at this hotel that he went to, because they were in a beef at the moment. And then fresh out of the sex, she's leaning on the side of the damn bed, looking all concerned and bewildered, and then speaks to it being anger that's manifesting in her, because post sex, post orgasm, she's not thinking about the amazing sex she just had. She's not thinking about the love that's grown for this man, and how she just enjoys being up under him. She is thinking about this man being on top of Karen, and how that just gets her blood a boiling. And Karen's name wasn't mentioned. It was nothing that actually pointed to Karen, but y'all gave us a scene where she's focused on that post sex. So it's like, were you thinking about that during sex? Were you competing with Karen while you were having sex with her? Like, y'all gave us something that could go and had legs to expound further, and then turn around and did what with it? If she has this anger brewing, then the more that things pop up, especially a pregnancy, and then we never actually get to see her deal with said anger, deal with said frustration internally, and all the mental gymnastics that could be happening around this, being in the circumstance with this man that she don't want to leave, but this complicated situation. What, anger don't just disappear, baby. It looks for another vessel.
Baby, you hit something on the head. Let me tell you something. When you were talking, I instantly thought about when Karen and Aaron had sex and he kind of, ghosted a few days. And then when he came back, we found out that he felt he made the situation worse because he was trying to compete with Zach in that area. Because at least
Mm-hmm.
Zach was able to give you something that I had not been able to give you. And I wanted to let you know that I could do it too. And I could do it so well that I could make you forget about him. Same thing Fatima did. She did not verbalize that. But if you just got done having sex and you mean to tell me your first thought is about you, the man's ex, that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
There was some competition. You trying to sex it out of him and you can't, because even in that moment, she says how it pisses her off. It's triggering and she's not over it.
Yeah.
You're
And then we
not over
proceed
it.
to
And I'm
watch her
like,
never get over it.
never
But
get
then we're
over it,
supposed to
never address
believe
it again.
she's magically over it 4 seasons later.
Yeah,
Child.
yeah.
Missed opportunity. I think
Missed opportunity.
with her character in general, and we talked about this in the Fatima, which y'all haven't seen yet. We're going into the conversation around Fatima as a character and her evolution. So we're going to deep dive more into her as a character within this universe. But there's just so many missed opportunities to add additional depth and complexity. I think that they are riding a little bit too much on how Crystal looks. Gorgeous, gorgeous girl, gorgeous gowns. Uh, um, but yeah, there's just so much meat and potatoes there for a woman to get into a relationship with a man that is still tied in some way to his ex, and for feelings of jealousy, for insecurity to pop up for what was once a confident character. Um, they literally could have created way more nuanced tension versus the surface grab conflict that they've been showing for the last 6 seasons as it pertains to these people involved within this particular love triangle, love square, whatever you want to call it. It is definitely a misuse of opportunity and talent. Now, this one came up, and it made me have to like think for a little bit, because this person has come and gone so damn quickly that it's like, if you blink, you damn miss him. But I would agree, Allie, the Andy and Paris relationship is a missed opportunity. You want to share why you feel so?
Because I like Paris. I really did. I like Paris, and when we're introduced, I think the first time we were introduced to him, it was when I think either his mom or grandma ended up like passing out at the job,
Uh huh.
and Andy took her to the hospital, and we were able to meet him. And I think we just thought, he was the janitor or whatever, but come to find out, they owned the company
Yep.
that cleaned the law firm. And I'm like, oh, this would be totally different for Andy, because he's not like, I don't know how much he has. What I do know, them cleaning services, them people are rich. Like
Mm,
they are well off. I know a few who have their own cleaning service, but even if he wasn't, he just didn't fit the exterior of who Andy
yes.
would normally choose. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I like this for her. But as you stated, if you blink your eye, just a little twinge, you miss this brother. And I really wanted that for Andy because I didn't want her to, she was still, in the midst with Gary, but I did not want Paris to be her rebound guy because I just
Mm.
felt he was too genuine for that, too nice for that. Like, don't let him be that guy. And he kind of ended up being that guy for her. She got pissed off at Gary. Let me call Paris to see if he want to go to this gay bar with me and my friends. And she really only did that because she found out Karen was bringing Aaron.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't be by myself. I got to bring someone as well. And she ended up giving it up to him. You know what I'm saying, that night. And
Child on the sofa in his mama's house, honey.
baby, every time I see that scene, all I think about is that Genuine song called "Do You Remember?" Because there's a
Wait.
line in the chorus where he says, "We boned on your mama couch and we knocked the springs right out. Do you remember?" And every time I see that scene, that song part now that song, that y'all listen to that song, "Do You Remember" by Genuine. And I'm just like, Andy. And I just felt it was such a missed opportunity because I felt he would have loved her genuinely. I think
Yeah.
Andy would have messed it up. I ain't gonna lie to you, dog. I think Andy would have messed it up. But I really do think that I almost thought that he was gonna be used like that of Aaron for
Right.
Andy.
Right. So like my when this came up and I thought about it more, I'm like, I love Andy dating outside of her economic bracket. But to your point, he could have been rich. He didn't give rich because why are we
He
banging
didn't get
on your
rich.
mama couch? You could have owned this, a small business owner, great. Even just taking a few notches down of like you don't need to be rich, but maybe you a thousandaire. Cool, cool, cool.
Hmm.
I feel like Andy's ideal man is a person who does not meet the socioeconomic status that she's been trying to date on, because for all intents and purposes it gives like, yes, the men are fine, no shade, because Gary's demon ass is gorgeous, but she seemingly be dating for money at this point. It's like, girl, what? You need somebody that's going to come into your life and find partnership with you, that's going to expose you to life in a way that you have yet to see it. And for whatever reason, because you have homegirls who are, and Danny works down at the damn airport. Sabrina is a bank manager. Karen is an entrepreneur, and things get rocky when you in entrepreneurship. So you have proximity to lesser finance people and their lived experience, but for whatever reason you cannot bring your ass off your high horse for a second and stop being vapid to actually make genuine connections with people and create additional depth for yourself as a person. Like, you're prancing through life as this little prissy, well put up doll like girl, and honestly, while you got the penthouse and the Bentley, your life gives boring, girl. Your life gives nothing of real substance in it. And for me, the relationship with Paris is a missed opportunity, because it would have been a wonderful entry point to like taking Andy on a road never traveled. But it could have been traveled because I think that she did have genuine interest in him. Yes, she was using him, but it gave like she was using him to get back at Gary, but didn't realize how much she actually liked him. And he did have
Yes.
the
And I
man quality that she also be attracted to. So,
definitely, and I think it definitely would have changed her. Definitely would have changed her character because not only was Paris, an entrepreneur, but he was also a warrior. He was that man that you were talking about, because there was an instance where he got into a fight with Gary at Andy's apartment
yep.
when Gary looked like he was about to put hands on Andy or touch her inappropriately. Paris stepped up and did what he had to do in that moment. So he presented himself like, "Hey, I got a job. I got all my own business. I can support you. I can take care of you, and I can protect you." And it was almost as if Andy saw herself falling a little bit, and then she backed all the way the
Mm-hmm.
hell up. It was almost kind of like, no."
And even to that
He nice
point,
and
that
everything.
happens. But like, why don't we get to see that play out in the storyline? Like, Paris was brought
Yeah.
in and then ushered out so quickly that we don't get to explore none of it. We don't get to explore the opportunity for her to be challenged in the way of how she viewed life and how she navigates life, and maybe ascribing to a lesser need for so much money and wealth and affluence or whatever. We don't get to see her battling her feelings of like, oh my God, I'm attracted to a broke nigga. I've never been attracted to a broke nigga. What's wrong with me?
Hmm.
Like, and then we also, in ushering him out, she don't exit that and then go into a single season. She just right back to Gary. So to me, all of
Right.
that makes for like, Paris was totally underutilized as a character. He could have really been, even if he wasn't the man for Andy for forever, he could have been such a pivotal and impactful character for her to grow as a woman. And we just don't get it.
We just don't get it. Because I was trying to think actually the last time we saw the character, and I'm trying to remember, was him fighting
Child,
Gary?
no.
Was that the
They
last
brought
time? I
him
can't
back
remember.
real quick so that Robin could be mad, and then he
Oh
called Andy to
yeah.
say, I lied to Robin for you, because I mean, yeah, because Robin was asking about you because he was still cleaning the law firm. And I'm like, really? Y'all brought him back for
I
this
remember that.
to
Right, I
reinforce
remember.
Robin's insecurities behind Andy? Please.
Yeah. Horrible.
Child.
I remember now. I remember now.
I thought that the damn Fatima lack of character development was a missed opportunity at the top of the heap. But the next one, Allie, the next one really
Yeah.
might be the creme de la creme of what the fucking why.
Yes.
Y'all,
Hmm.
we talking about Zach's parenting
Hmm.
or the lack
Hmm.
thereof.
Y'all knew we was talking about that. Y'all knew it. Y'all may not have known where we was going with it, but y'all knew it was Zachary Taylor.
Had to be. They make
Nah.
Zach a father well before Karen's the damn mama, the baby mama. Because we get a random ass 3-year old out of nowhere and a baby mama that's a stripper that you slept with in spite of Karen and y'all's relationship because you used to cheat on Karen constantly. So that all worked. That all worked in the further backstory of Zach and Karen's relationship, the further context, the further character development as it pertains to them. Cool, cool, cool. But you bring in this stripper baby mama who don't have no money but been stripping for at least 3 years, because that's when you slept with her, or 4 years because you slept with her, she had the baby, then went back to stripping, don't got a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. And instead of coming in and actually figuring out how to co-parent, learning how to co-parent, because again, you're new to this parenting thing and you weren't raised, should I repeat it, you weren't raised,
Hmm.
only to expedite the confiscating of said child, the discarding of the damn baby mama, and then us never to see the damn child again. But you're a great dad. Flag on the motherfucking play, baby. Flag.
Yes.
Allie.
I'm wearing yellow for the flag. I'm wearing yellow for the flag that needs to be thrown on the field for Zachary Taylor foolishness of being a father. Now y'all know I have very strong feelings, and if you don't know, okay, you're gonna find out. I have very strong feelings about Heather, and as it relates to Zach's parenting and his growth as a character. When we were introduced to Heather, literally we found out this young lady had, hired excuse me, a private investigator to find Zach. She did not know anything about this man's money, but hey, I don't know. We never found out, I don't believe, what prompted her to even search for him in the first place. So when she comes up to his house, she sees Karen and Fatima, and she just want to let Zach know that he has a 3-year-old son. And they agree to take a DNA test. And she said, "You do have a nice house, and me and my baby gonna be all right." But she does say that, I was a stripper, but I'm doing something better with my life now.
Oh,
This
she
is who we
did?
were presented with. She did. She did. She said, I was a, because Fatima was like, "Well, what?" Though she said, "Well, how did y'all meet?" She said, "I met at my job," and Fatima was like, "Well, what was your job?" And she said, a stripper. She said, but I'm doing something better with my life now. That's why I was always adamant on the person that they created and fashioned Heather to be was not the person
Mm.
that we were introduced to. She was not introduced as a gold digger. She was not introduced as someone who knew that Zach had money. She didn't know any of this stuff. So it's like, but we never were told
Mm.
what made her want to find him in the first place. We don't know that
And they
story,
did have her
but you
leading with
present,
she's been trying to find him. So like as we
and
got
she's been trying to
more
find him.
more on Heather, I'm like, wait, maybe she wasn't just like trying to hide the baby for 3 years, but she slept with him for 30 minutes at the in the VIP that he could barely damn afford 3 years ago and then disappeared. How would she find him? The man just hit the
Correct.
lotto basically and rise to some type of place of affluence. So like even with her just going off of her first name and like maybe with whatever deal he did with the fake company and Bryce, maybe she saw his picture somewhere or something like that, right? But like, how would she have found
Mhm.
him before this if she wasn't
Correct.
flying out and he was about to hit her with that damn golf cart down at the damn airport? Because that's where his ass been. He's been in additional punani and down at the airport, and he
Hmm.
been ducking rent. Those are the only three places Zach been for the last 3 years. And how was she supposed to
Yes.
find him?
Okay.
Wait a minute now.
Parts
It's
coming
giving
through.
justice for Heather.
Oh, I've always been on that side, and I get so much flack, but I be telling people, I'm like, no, go back to when we were first introduced to this woman. That's they and what they did was they made her. Then the next time we see her, she's at um the law firm, and Hayden was like, Hayden, like, who is this?
Mm-hmm.
Who is this? Y'all made this girl to appear like she's so ghetto, she's so hood. She can't spell Hayden. She can't remember to go down and make the second lip. Like, come on, y'all made this girl appear. And I knew instantly when I saw that, I already know what's about to happen. They're gonna do this to this character so that they can esteem Zach to somehow get this baby. I already saw the writing was on the wall for me, and I hated
Mm-hmm.
that because I feel like it was such a missed opportunity. Because, like you said, Zach was already a father, even though he didn't know he had a child. We didn't get an opportunity to see him co-parent with Heather. It was just easy to throw money at her. Hey, I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna throw this money at you. Just give me my baby. And
Yep.
that's something that we've seen Zach do. I'm gonna just throw money at the situation. Oh, Karen, I'm gonna pay you back for all the hell and turmoil I put you through. I'm gonna just give you back this money. It's
Yep.
easy for him to throw money at something, but we didn't get a chance to see him work through that. Learn how to co-parent with someone who you even deem lower than you, because Zach had a way of looking down on people,
And that's
even
the
though
part
her
that
baby, I don't
pisses
even
me off the
understand.
most. That's the
Yes.
part that pisses me off the most. It pissed me off when he moved on up to the east side out of Danny's damn house, off of Danny's damn couch, and then acted like she was a peasant when she came to the damn duplex for the first time. As if you wasn't smoking her weed, eating her non-existent food in her refrigerator,
Mhm.
propositioning her, taking baths in her goddamn bathtub. Only to now you got a nice little sweater, maybe a little bit of a cashmere sweater on your damn back, and now all of a sudden you don't know nobody and you better than everybody. You literally were raised by Heather, and there ain't no empathy there. You are ghetto, bro. Ghetto. You are quite literally right now living off a woman, Fatima, and choosing to frolic about. But you want to look at Heather crazy? That to me is so mind boggling. And it's mind boggling because we also don't even get a moment where he even considers not being elitist, not being classist. As if he didn't come from the mud. We spend most of the time as a team now in the goddamn projects to which you were bred.
Say that.
And you go to Heather's house looking down on her when all of 6, 7 months ago you had no home, ho. You was down at the homeless shelter, ho. Danny had to
I'm
come
going
scrape your ass off the bunk beds down at the homeless shelter. And you turning up your nose at your baby mama who's been taking care of this damn kid and keeping it alive for 3 years. I think that we put too much or we don't put enough stock on keeping a damn kid alive. Because it don't just happen automatically. Zachary, please.
Yeah, and that was another thing too for me. All of a sudden, this woman has been caring for this child for 3 years. Now Zach gonna throw some money at her, and she just going to give her baby away. Like y'all got, it was just it's the writing for me. To me, that was just incredibly lazy. Like
Yeah.
you didn't even challenge yourself to say, okay, we're looking at this dynamic here. We know the tendencies of Zach. Now he has to be with someone who don't love him, who has no emotional excuse me, tied to him other than the fact that they share a child. How is he gonna maneuver this? Because he can't sex his way through it.
Yep.
He can't, talk his way out of it. He's gonna have to do the work. We have not seen Zach do the work
At
yet
all.
because either someone is saving him, excuse me, or he's throwing money at it.
Yep.
Them the only two things. And I just
Even in
think
the
with Heather,
acquiring
I
of
believe
Michael,
Heather.
it's like you want to
Mm-hmm.
point out how terrible of a mother Heather is, and it's not no shade because she was doing some terrible things. But I also don't know how
Yes.
many hood ass mamas who weren't actually parented themselves, who maybe didn't grow up with their parents or was mistreated by their parents, who know immediately how to handle a nonverbal child or know how to handle a child that's on the damn spectrum. We're walking around every single day, be bumping into people on the spectrum, and y'all asses can't see it just in your day to day, let alone in your child, your pride and joy, the thing that you birthed and you probably believe to be perfect. And again, this is no shade, and I'm also not trying to make excuses for Heather giving poor behavior and treatment to Michael. But I also know that postpartum is real. I also know and put some respect on single motherhood and all that that does to a woman's mental, to a woman's emotional, and to come in and just throw money and judgment at the situation while also not even giving us a full story on the type of dad that Zach can be. So y'all want us to believe that Michael was better off with Zachary Taylor because Zachary Taylor got a little bit of money and Fatima in his back pocket, but we have yet to see how he has grown in emotional stability and or intelligence. We have yet to see him advance his emotional regulation. Mentally, he's a damn dunce if you ask me. He hasn't, like you said, done the work to even walk into fatherhood as a person who is supposedly playing catch up. Last time I checked, anytime I feel like I'm behind in something and I'm entering a situation late, I'm doing research before. How can I come in here and be the best? But that's an Erica mentality, I suppose. That's operating a little bit of black excellence, which Zach won't know shit about. But y'all want me to buy into him getting custody of Michael, only for y'all to quickly usher Michael's ass off the screen, giving us two scenes out of whole 2 seasons. But Zach's a wonderful father. Fatima said it, so it's the truth.
Mm, that's it. Fatima said it, so it is. It makes me so mad. It just makes me so mad. Did all of that, done got the baby. We don't see the baby, but he's a great father. Zach, you're an amazing dad. Zach, you are this. Zach, and I said, babe, I understand affirming your man, but it don't matter if it's a show because the audience needs to see that.
Hello.
We need to see Zach being a great father. We need to see Zach. My thing, going to parenting classes, going to a class
Reading the
here and
damn
there. How
books.
do please?
The library is
Zach
damn
spent more
free.
time. Oh my God, girl, you to the world finna say it's free. It's free. Zach spent more time with that damn board than he has with his son.
Oop.
That's really what it is. But he's supposed to be a great dad. Okay,
And
okay.
the best, the biggest thing about this being a missed opportunity is that the Zachary character has been centered in the sisters universe, which honestly is giving weird for this to be a show about black women and
Hmm.
it centers this black ass man. But also,
Yes.
he's centered in this universe. Okay, fine. Duvall is talented. We don't mind looking at him. Great. But he's also presented with so many opportunities and interactions with characters to which his character can grow, and y'all are refusing to let him grow. So he has a relationship that blows up with Karen, and the back and forth with that. He ain't gonna grow from that. Cool. He gets into a new relationship with Fatima, who's supposedly an upgrade. He ain't being forced to grow there. He lucks up on a bunch of money because finances was the reason why he couldn't be a good man this whole damn time. He still don't have no growth when it comes to the finances. Only to bestow upon him his very first child, which creates a completely objective circumstance to grow the character in all the other areas if he could put some effort and energy into this one area, and yet and still he still don't do it. That is why this is literally the biggest area of opportunity for the Zach character, because it could have indicted the man that he was and truly had him question things in a way that will force him to become a better man, and then walk into that, and then every other part of his life would have reaped the benefits of it, but we don't get to do it.
Yes. That, I mean, clear. And even in addition to that, you have Aaron, because all those other relationships are women. You have a strong male figure who you're gonna be connected to, yet you reject the opportunity to grow and develop by having this man in your life. But we don't want to talk about that. But that's just another opportunity. There's so many.
Yep.
Just Lord, yeah, yeah,
So y'all, those are a
yeah.
couple of the character development missed opportunities.
Yes.
But there's also quite a few in the relationship dynamic missed
The
opportunity sections.
relationship, the relationship.
And
I
Ellie
got
and
some.
I might be the sole survivors in this particular town, but I fear we're never going to let this go.
No.
Danny and Karen's friendship conflict needs to be addressed, but yet
Yes.
it was brushed over.
Yes. Yes. I'm still F Danny when it comes to Karen. And I'm gonna always be that until I don't care how nice she is. Until there has been a genuine apology for what that heifer did at that dang on juice bar and involving Fatima and completely ignoring Karen's request. That and also going to Zach and basically telling Zach that Karen was a hoe in college and you need to get a DNA test because you don't know, you know what I'm
Yep.
saying, what cock was in her in house. I Danny can kick rocks with no socks on forever for that for me. I just feel like that was another missed opportunity because we had Karen apologize to this woman. For what?
Mm-hmm.
The fact that she humbled herself to apologize, humble herself to say, Danny, you are my best friend, one of my best friends. I love you. Like, I don't want to be beefing with you, but how do you think I feel watching my best friends become friends, with this other person? And oh my God, we used to get it all the time. Well, Danny and Fatima can be friends, and Danny, and I'm like, the issue to me has never even been that. It's what Danny has done to a
Yes.
person who has been solid in her life for the past 18, 19 years.
Yep.
That's my issue. To me, Danny, that's not a friend. And then when Danny came over to the house to apologize to Karen, she never apologized.
Ever.
She never apologized. That thing for me, I just because to me friendship is such a beautiful thing
Yep.
because you choose these people.
Mm-hmm.
And to choose a person who wants to see you down bad or not see you do well. And we knew it wasn't over because even what was it, the episode before the season finale of season 8, she made reference to Karen and
Yep.
Aaron's relationship about how it's not going to be,
Yep.
Karen's not going to be happy because did you forget she's pregnant by two different men? What does that have to do with
Yep.
your friend, had being in this place of happiness with the man whom she loves, who just happens to be one of the fathers of her children, and you can't even still be happy for her now.
Period. And to the to
Mm.
the comments about, oh well, Danny could be friends with Fatima, my response to that has always been, if your friendship with this other person requires you to sacrifice your friendship with me, then are you actually really friends with this other person, or are you commiserating with my enemy? Which one is it, ho? Because we didn't see Fatima and Danny bond over their mutual mediocrity. We didn't see them bond over their mutual hoeing, like the crackhead that you both slept with. We saw you
Okay.
bonding over Danny betraying Karen's trust and her past by communicating about her in negative ways to both you and your fiance, who's supposed to be her friend. That's what y'all talk about. Y'all get together and y'all talk about Karen, and then you mad that Karen's mad about her not showing that she's actually Karen's friend. Because if I'm gonna be friends with my friend's enemy, the last thing that we're gonna be talking about is my motherfucking friend. The moment that hoe bring her up, oh, that's what you wanted? Well, I ain't gonna be able to do that, babes. Don't matter if you a cool chick or not. Because that is not what we're here for. You don't build friendships off of that. But you lose friendships off of that, which is what we should have seen play out. Us not actually getting the full scope of this conflict within this friendship behind what could be jealousy, what could be resentment, on both sides. I feel like it was jealousy on Danny's side, and I feel like Karen is like the prototype for the friend who feels like she can't give enough for this friend to be happy. What do I do now? That should have been explored as well. Because her even, like you said, humbling herself and apologizing for she shouldn't be apologizing for just to make peace because you care about this person so much is a very real thing. I have been in that situation quite a few times. But then ultimately, I arrived at the point of like, no, I need to let this person go because you require entirely too much. And the thing that you're requiring is not even just simple effort in maintaining a relationship, which all relationships require. You're requiring me to sacrifice and to belittle and to dim my light. Baby, that's too much of a price for me to pay. So I'm gonna go ahead and tell you and this relationship, go ahead and be blessed. Good luck in the future with wherever you find and wherever you land. That is the story. Tell the story of why Danny is jealous of Karen. Because when we meet her, she running up her goddamn Amazon account, which is a very real thing. Taking advantage of the people that you love is a real thing. It shouldn't be, but it is. It happens all the time, B. Tell a story.
Yes, and I'm all for that because what is the origin story of these two people? Like, I understand you may have some friends that bump heads, that may be like the too strong-willed in the bunch. I get it because that was me and one of my homegirls who were not friends anymore, but that was us at one point. And it wasn't that we didn't like each other; we were just both strong in nature and how we thought that we were going to bump heads. But it was never to demean, disrespect, in any way. And when you see that with Karen and Danny, it's like that's what you get. And when Karen stands up for herself, oh, she never takes accountability. Why Karen's so nasty to them? I'm like, to them, this girl will. Karen truly depicts a friend who will go to the ends of the earth to protect those whom she loves. And yet people desire to see her get walked over by a character like Danny. And I'm like, half of the time, y'all don't even really want a relationship with Danny and Fatima or even Andy and Fatima. Y'all just want Karen to be the one to have to suffer.
Yep.
And she just happens to be the common denominator in those friendships.
Yep.
Which is wild, but I do wish we understood and knew the origin of how Danny and Karen became these people. And even when they were telling the story when Karen went to go see Danny, and Danny was like, well, it's gonna be hard for us not to talk since we're part of the same sister circle. And Karen said, not for long, and she slammed her door. And I said, ooh, where were y'all going with that? Because I was waiting for a friendship breakup.
Yes.
I was ready for it. I thought we was gonna see it with Andy, and I damn sure thought we was gonna see it with Danny, but we didn't.
And we should have, because that's real as well.
Mm-hmm.
That is so real. Yes. I think that there's just so much unexplored territory within the sister circle, period. But when we talk about the Danny and Karen friendship, if we are going to have them do what they are specifically doing, then there needs to be real consequences for that, which is typically is you lose your friend. Maybe it comes back, but then also maybe it doesn't. There also, if you do choose to have them make up, then what is the conversation around creating boundaries? Because as it stands, it seems like Karen is not supposed to make boundaries. Nobody can make boundaries and expectations of Daniela because Daniela is herself, and everybody who wants something of her, expects something of her, or needs something of her is just trying to change her. Girl, go to hell. The conversation around friendship boundaries should be discussed, and they're the perfect friends duo to explore it. The conversation around competition versus support could have been explored with these two. Danny, you ain't talking about what you want in life, so we don't even know if you want anything more, but something is driving your jealousy of Karen, and I think it's you secretly competing with her. It happens all the time. Let's discuss it. And to have them, like you said, have her apologize and we get this resolution as harmony without Danny even taking any type of full accountability. This is why me and Allie are never leaving this goddamn town and going to stand 10 toes down on like this was not actually handled correctly, and there's a conversation that still needs to be had because that's unrealistic. And it's unrealistic not
Unrealistic.
because you can't resolve the conflict without the conversation. People try to do it all the time, but then there's still consequences for that. There's residual things that go on in your life when you are supposedly putting the beef down, or you resolved it, but the resolution was hinged on one person taking accountability and the other person just being like, okay, great. What did those two people's lives look like after that particular conflict has been put to bed? Tell that story.
Yeah. Hmm. Because I mean, I would have loved to see Mindy in Karen's chair.
Ooh,
I would have
ooh,
loved to
ooh.
see me like how we gonna grow from it, and a lot of times you grow, as they say, you grow through what you go through, and when you got to go through a situation and you see, oh damn, that feel different. I see Mindy sitting in Karen's chair, which we ain't never seen Danny sit in Karen's chair, even though Karen does Andy and Sabrina's hair, but that's a whole nother conversation as
Ooh,
well.
ooh.
But to see that, how does that make you feel? And I would give the writers props for having Karen say, "How would you feel if I got together with Preston's new fiance?" Because it made Danny think, 'cause she paused before she responded. Like, yeah, helpful. I know it stung. You gonna act like it didn't phase you, but it did, and then you kept on because I want to make you hurt so badly. I'm gonna invite Fatima anyway. So damn what you're saying, but
Yep.
it's like, yo, that is still a conflict. That is very much so still a conflict. To me, there has not been a resolve there. I don't care if she the godmama. I don't care how nice you try to be. No, because it's still underlying issues of jealousy, of competition, and of unresolved issues that is saturated with Danny. So no,
Period.
mm-mm. I ain't coming off that. Nope.
And to further the conversation around the friendship dynamics, Fatima's relationship with the girls and her integration into the sister circle. That's a complete missed opportunity because how do we go from her busting into Karen's damn house, calling each and every one of them some hoes that run together, ready to fight every one of them off the strength of Zach's my man,
Mm-hmm.
to we having
Mm.
brunch, Kikin, and talking about Karen behind her damn back with this woman. She never apologized to you for calling y'all hoes or the disrespect that she had hurled y'all's way. She never even fully was accountable past like what was it, season 2, to the fact that she always wanted to be in this friend group and y'all just let her in unceremoniously. Not to say that you had to haze the girl, but like she ran around mistreating your friend, sometimes in reaction to some of the things that your friend did so cool, called y'all some hoes, and all you hoes ran together in a harem for y'all to be yucking it up over brunch and mimo. It's the audacity for me.
It's audacity for me, sis. And you know who I say Fatima really reminded me of?
Who?
David Ruffin
In what way?
in the Temptations.
Ah!
Because from afar he was admiring the Temptations.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they invited him to come on stage. They invited her to come out to eat. Okay, we love the dynamic. Now we inviting you. Blue invited him to come to his mama house to eat New Year's Eve dinner. And here go Ruffin. I just really want to sing with y'all. Here go Fatima. I just really love y'all friend group. Uh, did the same thing David Ruffin did. We got you in here. Now your ass taking over. So not only have we incorporated you in our group, in our sisterhood, but now you have the audacity to disrespect a founding member. No. Instant get kicked out of this group. I wish somebody would. I wish, and I go to this. I can't even imagine me being at my homegirl house, and the current of her ex walks her happy. Let me tell you something. I would have went to jail for assault, because I'm telling you, I would have shattered her jaw. I
The
don't even care.
way I
I
would
don't
have
care why
blacked
you're here.
out, bro. I think my soul would have left my body, and then I was not in control for whatever those 32 minutes that followed. Because at that point, you in fight or flight, and I'm a fight. Honestly, most of the time, I'm going to fight. What do you mean you're walking into my homegirl's house? And I know that you be packing. I'ma swing on you off, like just to catch you off guard, and I'ma beat your ass first. Ask why you're here later.
There we go.
Cause what do you
There we go.
mean?
There you go.
Waiting for her outside is one thing. Maybe that could be a conversation
Yes.
there. There is no conversation once you walk your ass into her house. And
Yes.
then you get the, cause that's how all you hoes do. What fix your fucking fingers, ho. Fix your fingers and who you
Hey.
talking to. And the unrealism, that's not even a word, but like it's so unrealistic to have this girl integrated so seamlessly into the same friend group that she so easily disrespected and disregarded in that moment. And we don't even get a from Danny. I mean, girl, you seem cool, but I ain't gonna be too many more hoes. We don't even get that. And that's not even a true like confrontation of like what was said and like addressing the weight of like what was said and the implications of what was said. All of that needed to happen. Like if you don't go as far as like, bitch, we can't actually be your friend because you tried us in this moment, you've been trying our girl this whole time, then you bare minimum need to have somebody speak to it again. But to have them cower and clamor to be this girl's friend as if nothing happened, there is no water under the bridge, is wild. And they're black.
Yes. Girl, yeah. Yeah. It was in that moment I knew, I said, there is absolutely nothing that Fatima cannot
Yes.
do on this show.
Yep.
When I saw that, I said, she it's fair game. She's able to do whatever she wants because there is no way, as you stated. I was so, I'm rarely am I shocked, but I was shocked that not even Danny, the fighter of the group, didn't have something to say.
Yeah.
I mean, no, nothing like no Fatima. You need to get the hell out now, or I mean, baby girl, unless you're trying to get jumped. Even if Fatima would have said, "By who?" I know Andy ain't gonna do like something. I couldn't even be in the moment. I said, Karen got more heart than all y'all put together.
Yep.
Cause baby girl pregnant, the smallest thing in this scene, and was still running her mouth like Fatima. You can still get these hands,
All of
or
them.
you can get
And
a
these
bullet
feet.
in your ass if you don't get the hell out. Yes, if you don't get the hell out of my house, and you coming in here because I said I wanted to f your man, girl, gone somewhere. And it's so funny when people used to say, "Well, she Karen should have never said she wanted to have sex with Zach." You know how many people say they want to have sex with somebody, man? What you gonna do? Run up on everybody?
Every single
What are
person.
you talking about? What we in high school? Like, come on, girl. I
And
said, girl. But yes,
it
it's just the
shows,
fact that they
it just goes
never.
back to like the lack of development with the Fatima character that we talked about a little bit earlier, because this is also further proving you jealous. You just had sex with your man, quote unquote, put him to bed, and then got your ass in your car, drove across town and go to his ex's house to make sure that she know never to tell him, whatever, to proposition him for sex again. Girl,
Mm.
that's a text message at best. You literally supposedly won. The nigga's in you're in that nigga's bed. Why are you here? But you want us to believe you're not jealous? You want us to believe that you're not insecure? Secure women
I'm on
don't
your
do
mind
that, I
that
didn't
bad.
think.
No, not after just busting one either. You mean to tell me you don't put it on me, or supposedly you don't put it on me that good? That again, after we're done, your ex is the first thing on my mind? No, no, that ain't no. That you
Child.
got a problem, sis. You have a true um a true problem. I think that goes to like the growth and how Fatima relates to women outside, her comfort zone. It's just like she gonna find a way to get close. She's going to
Mm.
find a way to maneuver into these spaces, and the writers are going to afford her that opportunity. Even with Danny, after the whole what was it, Jonah? After the whole Jonah
Mm.
situation, Andy's not in the office, but follow me. Oh, now she's taking care of Danny. Now she's and one of the things that pissed me off so greatly is when Danny tells Karen right after the letters episode was that if Fatima wasn't if Zach wasn't your ex, or if Fatima wasn't dating your ex, she would already be a part of the sister circle. And Andy was like, yeah, I can't argue with that. What y'all mean? Why are y'all saying it? Like the way that these women are able to infiltrate or bring Fatima into these spaces that she don't even need to be in. Why is Fatima name being brought up right now?
Hello? Because what about what the hell is Gary's wife's name?
Jasmine.
Well, why isn't Jasmine part of the sister circle? She got money. Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Hmm.
Hey, let me go run to the grocery store. Maybe I'll catch Tyrone's girl since we just collected
Maybe.
cool chicks like Infinity Stones, regardless of who they tied
Hmm.
to. Please.
Hmm. 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 I just don't like it.
Child. And last but not least, in this whole relationship dynamics missed opportunity, I really do feel like this is a missed opportunity. And it's almost one that I forgot about, Allie. So I'm kudos to you for
Yeah.
bringing this up. But Aaron and
Yeah.
Gary's relationship dynamic, they introduced it, they tied Aaron to him, which ultimately tainted his brand on the show for me because I'm just like, why? Then they cleaned it up because he's a men's group leader, cool, cool, cool. And he has moments of trying to talk Gary down. But then when Gary gets into his most diabolical bag, him and Aaron never speak again. Huh?
They never speak again. It's the craziest thing. Oh, it's the craziest thing, especially how we find out that these two are even connected when, Aaron's phone is ringing and Karen's like, hey, Aaron, somebody trying to call you. Then we see is Gary on the other end, but losing his mind after he done believe he done sent Andy up to glory after he done about choked her to death. He's on the phone with Aaron. I'm like, oh my god, okay, they know each other. Okay, I didn't even really have an issue with it. Like, okay, he's part of the men's group that Gary is a part of, and that's how we find out. Even Gary going to the hospital, Aaron going to check on him, even Aaron going to bat for Gary to tell Karen like he's not that bad of a guy. I do work with him, so on and so forth. They were never friends, but yet Aaron was someone who was in his corner. When
Yeah.
Gary went to go get his money from the bank
Yep.
from Andy, Aaron was there as well. So it's like there were so many instances where Aaron has shown up for Gary. That, as you stated, to talk Gary down, to go to his office, like, dude, what's going on with you? What's wrong? And when he turned full Satan, it's as if Gary and Aaron do not know each other. That's not to say that Aaron could have saved him, but at least it would have kept with the continuity
Mm-hmm.
that Aaron does know Gary. That, oh, like, dang, he in the hospital. Wow, I mean, that's bad. He just need to get himself together. I can't really. And don't get me wrong. I know that Aaron got sat down, so he's not doing
Yeah.
anything in the church, which means he's not leading the group anymore. I get that, but that's not to say you just don't act like you don't know this person. They just
Hello.
completely dropped the ball with that
Yo baby
storyline.
mama is pulled into questioning to interrogate her involvement with his potential unaliving. And we don't get a word from Aaron about how he feels about any of it. About how he feels about Gary potentially being unalive and about Karen having to be forced to engage with this while pregnant. Like, come on now. You do not do that. You do not introduce this particular tie, this particular relationship connection and sever it without any type of explanation.
None. None. I mean, none. This was one of the weirdest ones, and it's different because, and the reason why this one is so diabolical to me is because they're still both on the show. For
Yeah.
most of these other people, it's like these characters one of them left or maybe both have exited. These people are very much intricate characters on the show,
Mm-hmm.
and they do not communicate.
And in the whole, like, including Aaron, even in Gary's diabolical fall, would have been great context to really give us parameters for how bad it's getting without even speaking specifically to Gary. Because the moment that Aaron gave up on him or like walked away and distanced himself, that would have told the audience like, oh wait, there is no going back. There is no saving him. Which I think would have been great. And it also would have helped better I mean, Aaron is a wonderful character. We've already called him the gold standard. So like, it doesn't ruin his character because he's not engaging with Gary, but I think it would have been further evidence for like how incredible he is as a man, because he did try to offer grace and patience, not even just to the woman that he wants to parts of him and the parts of her, but to this man who was very damn troubled. And to have included Aaron in Gary's like descent into this diabolicism would have been really great, because it would have also showed, I think, what Aaron's limits are, and then further affirmed his priorities as we were watching Karen progress in her pregnancy, and him really hone in on like what's important in that regard, because you can't save everybody. And I do feel like we're walking into a season of like Aaron is concerned about him and his. Whatever else is going on is whatever else is going on.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it would have, to me, would have really shown what a friendly dynamic looks like. 'Cause I'm not gonna say that they're friends, but to show how you show up when you care about somebody, and also what it looks like when clear boundaries have been set, as you stated. You know, I'm I have someone in my life who's pregnant with my child. She is my top and pretty much only priority right now. And trying to stand in the gap for Gary, who is choosing
Mm-hmm.
to be diabolical, is something that I refuse to do. So where he is just where he is. I pray for, even if it was something quick. I pray
Yeah.
for him.
Yep.
But Karen, I'm not dealing with that. I see it for what it is, and I wash my hands with it.
Yep. That's it. That's
Y'all ain't got
all.
to give us, 2 pages of dialogue. One little half a page would have been fine.
A little
But to
one, two.
show that, hey, I recognize it and I wash my hands with it.
Yep. At some point would have been wonderful.
Hmm.
Now, y'all, we do have a little bit more, so maybe we come back and do a part two to the missed opportunities, because we're gonna go ahead and get ready to call it quits with this one. We're a little in and out, a little one
Yes.
two for y'all this week, but feel free to let
Yes.
us know what you think were some of the missed opportunities within the Sisters universe in these 8 seasons thus far. I think we pointed out some really great ones, but like I said, we do have a couple of on the list, and I would love to see if some of y'all point out some of the other ones that we want to talk about at some point, or if we completely missed something, and then we could go back and be like, "Oh wait, Allie, remember? Yeah,
I think
mm.
about that. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
like this is very much so a conversation with y'all, and we're thoroughly enjoying doing these deep dives every single week. We're hoping that you're enjoying our Sisters Keeper as much as we are enjoying making
Yes.
it. Be sure to go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you want to check out Allie's videos on her channel, it's at Allie Nick Official on everything, actually, on socials as well. Anything you want to share before we get out of here, Allie?
Make sure y'all come to the channel. I've been a little slackish, but I do have some new videos. We talk about Harper Stewart of the best man, actually Harper the hypocrite Stewart. So if you just love nostalgia, you love black film, things for the culture, make sure you go over there to Ali Nick Official, hit that subscribe button, and check out the videos that's on the channel.
Yes, go and check her out, because she always in the nick of time with things that you need to be
Yes,
discussing. Okay. Allie, it has been another wonderful episode. I thank you so
absolutely,
much for co-hosting our Sisters Keeper
absolutely.
with me. Y'all have a great rest of your week.
Yes,
Hit that like button on your way out. Get into the content, because I'm hitting you with the content. Y'all need to be watching Beyond the Gates. I'm just saying, because I'm
you
coming every
do.
day with the Beyond the Gates videos. But until
Yes,
next time, see y'all when we see you.
yes. Peace, y'all.